bottom half guard, he's in top half guard, all right? First thing is, I don't want to be flat on my back. He wants to get head and arm control, flatten me out. This is bad news for me, all right? So when I'm in my half guard, I'm on my side. I'm on my side, I have a frame. When I stay on my side, my shoulder blade's off the mat, all right? My hand's on his hip, my hand's on his shoulder. Right, if I'm gonna start attacking this arm, a lot of times my hand that's on his hip will come into his bicep, right? I drape down to his wrist, and when I'm ready, I do a strong sit-up, all right? As I sit up, I grab my own wrist, all right? Everybody come on this side, and I'm up on my wrist. Now the key is over here is I don't want his hand going inside by his knee. All right, I want to be able, as soon as I lock up his hand, I drop to my elbow, and I want to make sure that I keep his hand outside of his knee. All right, and we've spoken about finishing this Kimura by keeping the arm bent and just wrenching, making him touch his head. One defense for him is to straighten his arm out, and if he straightens all the way and gets his arm out like that, I can't finish the Kimura, all right? So I change the crank. I keep this grip as he goes to straighten his arm. I'm not gonna fight to rebend it, all right? He straightens, I'm not gonna keep on rebending it. I'm just gonna take the crank and move it over my head, all right? It becomes a straight arm lock, all right, instead of the Kimura. So one attacks the shoulder, the other one attacks the elbow, all right? Then we spoke about that one thing when I lock this up, if he does defend by holding the inside of his thigh, all right, a lot of times he keeps his legs close together, all right? Because if his legs were really far apart, all right, it makes it very easy for me to just reclaim back to guard, all right? And now I have an even higher percent chance of finishing my Kimura. So when his legs are close together like this, he has no base on this side. I have his arm, keeping his legs close together, which makes it one of the easiest sweeps I'm ever gonna get, all right? I lock up this Kimura, he's defending the Kimura, he has no base. All I do is plant my foot, bump my hips over, and I land up on top, all right? So that was one thing that we did, all right? The other thing that we did, where he could try to defend, all right, when something is looking to not get submitted, is, let's say I'm about to finish this Kimura, all right? His hand's out. Another thing that he did was roll over his left shoulder. Right, he rolls over his left shoulder, and I follow, right? And I got to sweep out of that too. So when I locked up on the Kimura, right, if the hand was inside and kept his elbows, his knees really tight, I brought him over for a sweep. If I got the hand outside and I'm about to finish the Kimura, he rolled over, and I got on top because of the sweep, right? Let's just do that. Let's review the things that we've done. Show another way that a guy can defend and another way that we can capitalize on offense, all right? So let's just finish both those sweeps, the guy rolling and the guy pitching his knees over. You should end up on top for both of them, all right? On three, 1, 2, 3. We did this to me yesterday, and he's done this numerous times. It bothers the shit out of me, all right? But I do this to other people too, all right? So another defense for this is go down, all right? You notice, in order for him to lock up this Kimura, my head is not on the inside, all right? If my head was on the inside over here, we're in this position, he can't even lock up. Right? Even if it's locked up, he can't finish this Kimura. My head being on the inside prevents the Kimura, right? That's why, like, when we start, he's got his hand on my shoulder here, so he has that pad. If his hand was on this side and he tried sitting up, right, I could block with my head. Right? Everyone get that, right? So sometimes, right, and I do this as a defense myself, all right? This is a way for you to capitalize on it. Sometimes if somebody's going for a Kimura, let's say, I don't have an underhook yet, I have my hand on the hip, he starts locking up this Kimura, all right? Now sometimes what somebody may do is keep this one on the hip and come over here like this, trying to create space to get their head inside so that you dead the Kimura, and now I have an underhook too, right? Once I break this grip, I have him flattened out, right? Good position for me, all right? So I want you to do that to me, all right? So if somebody does that, tries putting their head inside, let's say I lock up this Kimura, right? But when you do it, right, I want you to take this hand and keep it on my hip. Because you didn't have the underhook. If you had the underhook, you would have been playing with that to begin with, all right? You didn't have the underhook. We came here, I locked this up, he's trying to push off my hip, all right? His elbow's on the inside, all right? His elbow's on the inside, and I get this position. Stay real light so I can talk about it too. All right, here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear his hand, all right, use my knee, all right, his head's on the inside now. All I'm going to do is start looking to come up, twisting my body, all right, move your hand just for the time being, all right. Once I clear that hand, you notice I have one hook in, I settle my weight, I put my other hook in, and now I'm on his back, all right, with this grip, okay. With this grip, I have hand in. I'm just going to transfer my grips. My hand that's grabbing is my choking hand. I'm going to transfer to my other hand, leaving my choking hand free. Start coming up by his neck, pull my hand out, finish with the rear naked. All right. So again, what's important is I have to clear that hand. We're just drilling right now, so make it easy for the guy to clear. All right. He's not going to go for an underhook. He's just going to keep his hand by my hip. So again, his hand's by my hip, right? I have my knee here. It's not on the outside. We're playing. I decide I'm going to sit up for my Kimura. Why? Because he puts his head on the inside. As soon as he does that, I want to clear, all right? I bring my hips out. Now his hand's not on my hip anymore, all right? His head's on the inside. I take this leg, I lift my hips up, start twisting, put my other hook in, all right? And now I'm on his back. When I'm on his back, I take the hand that was grabbing the Kimura grip, I transfer to the other hand, my other hand comes underneath his neck, and I finish with my rear naked choke. All right, so one last time, right? And like I said, sometimes you have to, like when you're doing this live, you have to clear that hand yourself. I'm making it easy right now, all right? It's a new movement for us, I want to make it easy. So again, we're in half guard, he can't get that underhook. I'm keeping this frame, right? Maybe I'm collapsing my knee to prevent that. I don't want him to really get, you know, that underhook on me. I grab his wrist, I sit up. He's trying to get his head on the inside because he feels in danger, right? I bring my hips out, right? And maybe I push his hand away, all right? His hand isn't on my hip anymore. I take my foot, I come over on his hip, I lift my hips up and turn. I get my other hook in, all right? And now I'm on his back. Take this hand, transfer to the other hand, start riding up, finish with my choke, all right? So it's a path to someone's back, all right? Basically arm dragging themselves. All right, let's grab our partner and give that a shot on 3. 1, 2, 3.